Hi, this is Louis.
And this is Adam, and welcome to Encounter the Ghost of the Kingdom True Crime.
In today's episode, we will be discussing Hamlet's Avenger, Hamlet, his actions, and intentions surrounding them.
Indeed. First, we have Hamlet's motive to start this whole saga. His birthright to the heir to the throne of Denmark was taken away by his uncle King Claudius. Claudius took Hamlet's title after Hamlet's father died and married his mother Gertrude, and became the king of Denmark. Now, this would be okay if Hamlet was not of age to be making proper decisions, like if he was a kid and became king. But he's in his 20s, so he really should have this right.
Right. Good observation. As we established in the previous episodes, spoilers if you haven't seen them yet, Claudius poisoned Hamlet's father to take the kingdom and Gertrude, his mother. As his father tells him, "Now, Hamlet, here, 'tis given out that sleeping in my orchard a serpent stung me. So the whole ear of Denmark is by forged process of my death rankly abused. But know thou, noble youth, the serpent that did sting thy father's life now wears his crown. His uncle reaped many benefits. Of those effects for which I did the murder, my crown, my own ambition, and my queen. May one be pardoned and retain the offense?"
Now, Hamlet's reaction to the ghost's words to enact his revenge. So his actions were to seek revenge when the ghost of his father told him to do this. But was he truly in the right?
I don't understand how anyone could say he was in the wrong here. He was essentially robbed of his father and his kingdom in one day, not including his mother, who he loves dearly, being brainwashed into marrying his uncle. Imagine for a second how you would feel it if you were next in line to the throne after your father the king. And suddenly all of that is taken away by your own uncle. I would be mad that my birthright had been stripped from me in one day. And on top of that, find out that your own uncle was the one who killed him. I would be pretty mad.
Interesting. I too believe that he was in the right, especially if he was ready to be properly ascending that throne, and especially considering that your own family member killed killed one of your own, not an enemy king or a high mercenary, and even if he went with a peaceful way about it, there was never really any sort of advanced technology in order to find proper evidence. And especially as we established in the previous episode, the vial that King Claudius used to poison Hamlet's father was tucked away and hidden away, and also there was no security cameras at the time, so no one could see Claudius murdering Hamlet's father.
His way to get revenge and hide it was very unorthodox. He planned to act insane to hide his intentions, which caused more concern and suspicion in both his family, friends, and servants. So much so that Claudius asked Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to watch over and find out what Hamlet is up to. I quote, "That being of so young days brought up with him and since so neighbor to his youth in Havia, that you vouchsafe a rest here in our court some little time by your companies, to draw him on the pleasures and to gather so much as from occasion as you may glean. Whether aught to us unknown afflicts him thus, that open lies within our remedy." The cast believes that Hamlet's insanity is a form of grief Hamlet got from his father's passing away.
So Hamlet's plan was to throw them off, and it worked for the most part. And in the play, he requests a pseudo recreation of what Hamlet believed happened to his father from what the apparition told him, and see if his uncle Claudius felt any sort of remorse for his actions. As expected, when Hamlet was starting to point out details of it, sort of accusing his father of the murder, Claudius would stop the play, saying, give me some light, away." And when he went away and found a room by himself, he begins to feel remorse and emotion for what he did, and started to go on his knees. However, he wasn't necessarily praying for forgiveness.
Hamlet then enters and sees an opportunity to end Claudius. However, he stops when he thinks Claudius is playing. I quote, "Now might I do it, Pat. Now he is up praying, and now I'll do it. And so he goes to heaven, and so I am revenged. That would be scanned. A villain kills my father, and for that I, his sole son, do the same villain sent to heaven. Oh, this is higher in salary, not revenge." Hamlet believes that if Claudius dies while praying, the villain will be sent to heaven and not dead in hell, like the apparition envisioned.
Unfortunately for Hamlet, Claudius was actually not praying, and he missed his opportunity to assassinate and gain his rightful birthright as king.
His blunders continue. He unintentionally killed Polonius and was shipped away to England. Fortunately, pirates take over his ship and bring Hamlet back home, unintentionally helping Hamlet to act out his revenge.
All right, and let's get started with this intriguing crime case.
Right, so let's lay out some facts first. So it was custom at the time to duel with swords. The blades, however, were blunted and not intended to cut.
However, the king had conspired with Laertes, his ex-girlfriend's brother, to place a sharp blade between the blunted blades.
That's right. Also, as an extra precaution to ensure Hamlet's death, the blade had been coated with a powerful toxin.
And don't forget the poison cup offered by the king to Hamlet when he was tired from the duel.
Right. Keep that cup in the back of your mind, listener, because it will have big consequences later on in the story.
Alright, so Laertes and Hamlet agree to this friendly duel, and they start. And it's clear that Hamlet is the superior swordsman in this fight, and he hits Laertes almost each round.
The king notices this and realizes that Laertes is not going to hit Hamlet because of his skill, so he offers him the poisoned cup, which the queen, Hamlet's mother, notices is poison, so instead she drinks it.
And the king looks on in disbelief as he sees his master plan backfiring on himself, and that's not even close to what's even going to happen to him and the other people in this room.
As the swordsmen take a rest in between rounds, Laertes stabs Hamlet with the poisoned sharp blade. Hamlet is surprised at this and takes the sword and stabs Laertes with the same blade, thus poisoning them both.
As Laertes falls, and so does the queen she dies before Laertes. And Laertes, before his death, yells out that the king was behind this whole devious plot.
Hamlet, enraged, takes up the sword and questions the king and stabs him dead.
An interesting point there is that the king lay dying and reached out to his dead wife, Gertrude the king, and so it seems he really did love her. However, it seems that he was more concerned with his lust rather than his own family.
Hamlet, remember listeners, had been stabbed with the poison blade, so as he falls, he dies in Horatio's arms, his best friend.
Now that was a very interesting chain of events, and quite the tragedy that happened in Hamlet.
Truly. But Hamlet, even when crazy, proved to be too much for the old king.
Such a shame that after all that fighting for the throne, it didn't really matter in the end.
What do you mean?
So Fornabras came in and took over the kingdom, and since Hamlet and Claudius were dead, there was no one who was able to defend the kingdom. And Fornabras, by the way, listeners, if you're just tuning in, was a former enemy of Hamlet's father.
Oh man, all that fighting only to be overtaken over.
Yep, it really was an ending to the life of the Kingdom of Denmark.
Well, that's it for today. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in and listening to this episode of True Crime. Have a good night, and remember to
stay sharp. This video is sponsored by ListenBook, an app that you can download on your phone to listen to your favorite books and podcasts. The user interface is clean, simple to understand, and makes browsing for any title simple and easy. Go to listenbook.com or on the app and type LOE War 36 to get 5 free titles of your choice and download them. Remember, that is LOEWAR 36.